After what seems like a very long winter that is still trying to hold on as we speak, the appearance of Dr. Chris Palma from the Penn State Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics on our set indicates that a new season is about to turn. In fact, spring officially begins tomorrow. It's great to see you again, Chris.
Good to see you.
You know, one of the items that I've seen in the news quite a bit recently is about NASA's plans for this so-called Artemis mission to the moon. Can you update us on where that stands?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting update. The most recent news I heard is that a launch could happen early in April. So this is the next stage of Artemis where they plan to send astronauts in the Orion vehicle, and it will go around the backside of the moon and then return to Earth. So humans will be in space on the way to moon, perhaps as soon as just a couple weeks from now.
Right, and if I recall, that's kind of what Apollo did, right? The first journey to the moon, they just went around the moon, set the stage for Apollo 11. Yet one other NASA-related story, back in 2022, they deliberately crashed a space probe into an asteroid with the goal of proving that if some sort of space rock ever threatened Earth, maybe, just maybe, it could be deflected off course. And now a new analysis of the data shows that actually might be true.
Yeah, it worked. And so this is why you might say, you know, it was years ago now, why are we talking about it again? Because it's taken this long to actually see those results, right? So you have to picture this gigantic rock out in space and a very small impactor hit it. And so as that rock was moving around the sun, its velocity changed by a tiny little bit. But that tiny little bit, you know, people talk about the butterfly effect, right? A small change can grow and grow and grow. And now over the last few years, we've actually seen that the entire system, these two rocks that orbit each other, have shifted their orbit around the sun.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully you never have to do anything like that, but it's nice to know that it can be done. One of the prominent objects in the night sky right now is a star that I always like to pronounce, Betelgeuse, right? It's in the constellation Orion. You, however, have something else perhaps more interesting to say about Betelgeuse, right?
This is really exciting, you know, and I've talked with my students about it a bit. This is a star that is so bright, as long as there have been humans on Earth, we've known it's there. And so you think, oh, those bright stars, astronomers know everything about them. There's nothing new we can learn. We just learned in the last year that this very large, massive, giant star has a companion. And so people have thought that might have been the case, but some new observations, both from the ground and from space, have shown that this giant star Betelgeuse has a smaller sun-like companion that's orbiting it. And the bad news, though, is that over time it's going to spiral in and collide. So it won't last.
And, you know, just as a side note, Chris, is it fairly common for stars to have companions?
Yeah. I've actually seen a lot of discussion. It's more unusual for them not to, right? So our sun is the exception where most stars in the universe appear to have companions.
That's really interesting. Let's talk about news coming out of your department. Some of your faculty work with the Vera Rubin Observatory. That's a telescope perched high in the Andes of South America. What's the latest news there?
Yeah, we're all very excited about the Rubin Observatory, but it really is a different way of doing things for astronomy. Typically, you would control a telescope, you would tell it where to point, you would take a picture, you would analyze the picture. Rubin's not doing that. It is night after night after night, the telescope is just scanning the sky, making note of where a bright object is, and then it's doing that so often, it can tell if anything changes. So it's searching for asteroids in the solar system that are moving, it's searching for exploding stars, it's searching for supermassive black holes that are flaring. So it's really looking for what we call transient objects. And the excitement is, just the other day, well, I guess a few weeks ago now, it released 800,000 alerts. So over its first few weeks of operation, it discovered 800,000 things changing from night to night to night.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary, though, to think that so much is changing out there from night to night. And I understand your department was recently involved in the launch of a very small satellite called a CubeSat. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this particular CubeSat is called Black Cat. We're known for X-ray astronomy, for looking at the highest energy light coming from space. And so there are these billion-dollar missions out there, the Chandra X-ray Observatory, XMM, but a CubeSat is something you can build for a few $1,000,000 in a small lab, have a small team working on it, and launch it in a couple of years. And so CubeSats are perfect for testing new technology that you can then, after you've tested it, put into one of those billion-dollar class missions. So that's exactly what Black Cat will do. It's going to test some technology, but it will also make discoveries of giant explosions in space that are always fun to talk about.
Got to have a catchy name, right?
Yeah.
Black Cat. Finally, any sky watching tips for the next few weeks to help folks who like to look up at night?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about the star Betelgeuse before, and so I really want to call people's attention to that. It's an easy star to find. You find Orion's belt, and then up above it, you see this bright orange star. And if you can do that, what I want people to do is look for what's called either the winter hexagon or the winter circle. There's a bunch of bright stars that basically make a big circle around Orion. It starts with Sirius, then it goes to Procyon, a pair of stars called Castor and Pollux, a bright star called Capella, another star called Aldebaran, and then down to Rigel. And those are the brightest stars in the winter sky, and we'll still be able to see them very prominently for about the next month.
Running out of time, though, as winter trails off, and the sooner the better for me. Dr. Chris Palma, Penn State Department of Astronomy and Astrophysics, thanks for joining us. And we'll be back in a moment with more.